All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Game 2 of the Total Annihilation Escalation Cash Prize Tournament Final between Harald and Dirty Harry, otherwise known as Combat Disc. Here we have Crimson Bay, which is a popular escalation map. You can see tons of energy reclaimables, tons of rock reclaimables. Metal is spaced out, but still generous, with this bay that is, in fact, not crimson, but is purple. With metal resources in between. So hover, sea, air, it all comes into play on this map. Once again, joining me, I have Wingflyer from Total Annihilation Escalation Replays. Say hi to the folks, Wingflyer.
Hey everyone, yeah, we are casting this tournament, and this will be the first time I have ever seen this map, so very exciting. I love water maps. Water has always been my favorite part of Total Annihilation, I think. And I like this map in general. Go ahead and look at the mega map.
Yeah.
I like that there is a path through the bottom, so you can take land-based units all the way around. But certainly you can kind of fold the map in half if you want to, if you decide to go hovercraft. And certainly air is an option, and sea is also an option, just going straight to shipyards. So very exciting, and I'm excited to see how these players.
I've played this a few times, and the first time I ever played it was against Stag Jr. in Escalation, and he completely rolled me. I was just completely out of my element. But I've played against Coolnick here and Protea too, and he also rolls me, because anywhere where wind is worth a significant amount, things go poorly for me against Nick. So both players have gone K-Bot. Now you probably notice there's a reason for that, and that's because they're both pushing out these little Reclaimo bots. So you have the Flea, which is repurposed in Escalation. It's not the raiding laser unit that is an OTA. And we have this new unit, which is a Mite, which basically looks like an earwig. It's an earwig. I don't know why it's called a Mite, but it's an earwig.
Yeah, and all these units really do is just reclaim. That's all they really are designed for. They just go around the map picking up all the foliage and rocks and reclaimable sources of income and give the player an early game boost.
Yeah, and this is how you'd play this sort of thing in OTA too. The very first thing you do is you wouldn't go and cap mexes. Instead, you'd go and get the rocks. Now these are 50. I think there's a few 75s. I don't know if there's any hundreds out here. So it's not the biggest rocks that are available on this particular tile set. And you can see Harald has gone ahead and dropped a missile tower in case of air. And yep, here we go. Harry is going right to air. He's got extra winds going. Wind is really good on this map. Typically plus 20 to 30, I want to say. We'll go ahead and just drop one just to see. More cons coming out. Fewer cons.
Yes, so Combat Disc going air really early, it seems. And we'll have to see if he can get a good bombing run if he decides to do that. If he could get a single Thunder out, might be able to inflict some heavy economic damage. Harald doesn't look to have much air defense. He has the one pulverizer. So we'll have to see what
I
Combat
have a
Disc
feeling this right here, he's going after the Mite. So he's trying to find the Reclaimer, and he wants to take it out. So yep, here he goes straight for it. Finds it. Eliminates it. Great move by Harry at that point. He bags the other one. And the way he knew that that was coming up is because on his screen, he can watch and he can see these rocks disappear. So that's why he knows where to find the Mites. Free AKs too. I don't know if this is the best use of his time. Chasing him off. Harald is retreating. I don't know why or what to. There's really just nothing over there. His Flea is still protected, doing a great job picking up those rocks along the way. Harald is still not air. Again, I don't necessarily know if I like the use of that time, considering how much there is to do to build on this map. Bomber's out.
Yeah, so that single bomber that I mentioned earlier, he finally has got it out, and we're going to have to see what he wants to do with it. So,
yeah. And Harald's going hover too, but with the air advantage. One of the things that's common in escalation bombing is to bring the scout with it. That's something I've noticed. It's less common in OTA, not because it's a bad idea, but it's just not something that was done as much. You'd send the scout in first, but not with.
So it gets 1, 2, 3, 4.
Three mechs. I think that was 3 mexes there. Or 4, yeah, 4 mexes. And a missile tower too. Definitely worthwhile. 14 metal to 15. So the reason why Harry's not super far ahead. He's got to remember Harold was pumping out extra crons while Harry was working on his air. So you're going to see, unless he can really take full advantage of that rating that he did, of using the air aggressively, he's not going to be able to get a big payoff. Nice little metal concentrated island. He's got a con over there that's capping that. Good place to defend.
And Combat Disc sending down some skimmers. It looks like through the middle of the map, he might try to get some harassment done on Harold's base if he can. But he does look to have some AKs ready to defend that.
Pee-wee army gets taken out. Nice little. It doesn't get the max for his trouble. See the return little scout battle over here. The scrubbers, those are the core. Use a dirt cheap, not a lot of damage. Manages to tag a max for his trouble. Doesn't get a con. Looks like it's more a unit you want to catch when you're trying to get somebody with their pants down rather than full-on attack.
Yeah, it's just a little scout hovercraft. They're not really great.
This is fantastic right here. This fleet is still working. I don't know where he's going with it. I don't know if he intended to send it that way. 2 LLTs should be more than enough to protect it from the scrubber assault right there. Yeah, I think this fleet is just on an attack run. See, Harold's marked out the missile towers. Starting to farm up some wins. Takes out the missile tower. He might get the max for his trouble. These resources. Looks like he didn't tag the max. He decided to run instead, do a little bit more scouting. Harry's got control of this island right here, which is doing really nice for his resources. He's only 1 metal ahead of Harold at this point, so the additional cons are doing a nice thing for it. We have some zappy tanks. These are these, zappers. They've got the lightning attack. The core counter to that is this really cool salamander. Nice line bombing run right there by Harry to take out all of those wins. Really good use of the bomber right there. Some nice tidy bombing by Harry right here. Here he comes in. He's got another one. Decides to bomb units for fun. Don't know if that was a good use of it. Flies off screen. Come back on screen. It's not going to be able to attack. Yeah, it doesn't get anything.
Yeah, on the east side of the map, there's an engagement happening. Yep. It does look like Harold brought in a squad of AKs, and he's going to try to get some economic damage done if he can. He takes out at least 1 construction vehicle.
Yep, nice job. Yep, he bags the con, and then so this is a little counter push because Harry had pushed up to here with Pee-wees, and you just push him back with AKs. He's got a combo force here of anti-air with it too. Raid going up the left side. And a single salamander has gotten through. I don't know if that's going to be enough to do damage. Just kind of looking at the map breakdown right now, it looks a bit like Harold is going to be ahead just simply by sheer size of territory. But all of the resources concentrated on that island are keeping Harry in it.
Yeah, certainly Harold doing a very good job of kind of spreading those tentacles out across the map. And taking the whole southern portion of that little island, if you want to call it that. And in the meantime, sending a squad of hovercraft in here. The Salamanders with the flamethrower hovercraft. And we will have to see if Combat Disc wants to get some D-guns done, if he can. But these Salamanders might just skirt around him
like
completely.
There you go. He bags, gets one with the D-gun. Gets 2. You see, the missiles don't do that much damage. They're not as strong as they are in OTA. Commander's laser's got some improved range. Definitely helps with the higher resolutions that people play at to make your commander feel a little more useful. Lasers that one to death. Leaves a nice 56 metal powder wreck there.
Yeah, overall, very effective raid, I would say, by Harold.
I don't know if it was necessarily worth the investment. He didn't really tag any resources with it. He got the wins, but wins are easily replaced. It looks like he's not hurting for energy. So I can't say I would agree that that's the best use of the units right there. It might have been better to try and follow around up top because he did manage to get one deep in the backfield. Although you can see it is now a 56 metal wreck after it bagged a single metal extractor. Again, this is where it's at. We have some Nixers. These are the missile launch. I believe they're vertical launch. Yep, there you go, vertical launch. And they're homing too.
Yeah, so combat disc, it does look like he is attempting to take control of the map, but he just can't seem to get the east side of his base under control. If we look at the mega map real quick, there is quite a bit of surface area that he hasn't covered yet. He does, as you said, though, have that top left island, which should keep him in the game.
And he's also capping these underwater ones, where it looks like Harold's only at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is going to be... That's going to be part of the story right there. Harry just keep it even on resources at this point. We have ourselves a game, folks. And not necessarily the best use of those rockers running into a LLT Dragon's Tooth wall. They get chewed up, turned to dust. And he has to come back
rockers
and
can
regroup.
actually outrange those LLTs, but they do need vision. They do need some kind of scout to give them a... to allow them to fire their rockets at their full distance. So yeah, walking headfirst into LLTs probably not the best use there. So.
And it looks like Harold has seized the corner, and he's able to turn it around here. So there's tighter concentrations of resources, easy to defend point versus a little bit wider up here. Harry drops a con, but he's got his tanks coming in, and this raid looks like it's going to be much more useful. This naked geo right here, covered just by, well, not quite naked, it's got 4 missile towers covering it. He's guarding it quickly with his construction K-bots. He's got a single Mac out now that he just cranks to try and deal with that issue. But this, folks, right here is the story. There is no radar on the north side of that. Remember, a small amount of metal for a lot of information.
Interesting choice for Harold to go T2 K-bots first. I don't know if that would be my choice in this situation. He could certainly go T2 hovercraft as well, but yeah, we'll have to see what he wants to do with those T2 K-bots.
These are Zephyrs depth charge units right here. You can see he's using that to raid out the underwater metal extractors, while his are still perfectly safe because Harold hasn't responded at all with any kind of air. So it's just full air superiority belonging to Harry at this point.
So why do you think Harold went T2 K-bots? I mean, why do you think? What's the logic behind that?
I'd have to ask him. I'm not the best Escalation pro. I imagine he's trying to up his economy, take advantage of the fact that he's got a relatively secure back left corner, and upgrade those mexes. Those LLTs weren't enough for the snappers, which are now through, and have cleaned Harry off of the island, and you can see how much that did. He was close to about plus 40 metal. Now he's down to 34, and Harold has taken the lead in the resource game. Another raid coming in right here. The Zapper's trading fire with the LLTs. Max will
You
probably
got some MAKs coming in here to defend. Those should be able to push this off without much trouble.
Here's where our radar sees those coming in. He's able to intercept. I don't know if he's even going to get a max for trouble. There we go. He gets one.
But in the meantime,
fighters are doing a little bit of harassing right here.
Is Combat Disc teching up? Is he? See if Combat Disc is trying to get a T2.
He's focusing fully on his. He's committed to this T1 fight. So whereas we are now T2 on this left side, and he's going Gimps, sinking them underwater, and he's gone C as well. So he's got a Corsair. This is the anti-sub, anti-air unit. So it's got double missile launchers. So this is actually a nice combo because he's got this to help cover his subs from the depth charge ships, depth charge guys.
Yeah, I was going to mention earlier that Gimps are an option if you want to go T2 K-bot. So he is building some Gimps. These are kind of like submersible cans. That's a way to characterize them.
And big. One of the subs taken down. Expensive investment. See that heavy laser tower just in range, not quite accurate enough to catch that running Mac going around the corner. And the storm pushes on. He's got a pair of light laser towers and some Roccos. I don't know if that's going to be enough. As Roccos quickly evaporate. Good job by Harald right there, just to kind of hold and focus. Big swarm of depth charge, guys. And a bunch of tanks coming in too. Basically unopposed. His C is not strong enough to handle the hovers in the air. Again, this Geo is going to be in trouble. He sees it coming in though, so he's sending up Pyro to cover. I don't see any T2 cons yet, so he's not using it to focus on economy. More hovers. Harry is fully committed to the hover game here.
Yeah, as you said, Combat Disc going very hardcore into the T1 game, and he certainly has to get something done with it. Otherwise, Harald will certainly pull ahead on economy just by having that T2 construction ability. Doing a good job here, I'd say. He's definitely pushing his advantage.
The T2 is not necessarily working out for Harald. He is broken through, and so he's got some pretty nice beefy anacondas going down south. He's managed to tag that Geo, and he's also cleaning up the mexes down here. This is definitely going to be painful for Harald, whose economy is now in the total gutter. He doesn't have enough energy to run his T2 efficiently. T2 takes a ton of energy, and so holding off on T2 actually looks like it might be paying off for Harry.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I was a little skeptical about that choice to go T2 K-Bot so early. And it does look like it was very risky, and it's kind of he's being punished for it by Combat Disc. So
just complete sweep here. Now this Geo is able to protect itself because it was upgraded. Harald trying to recover. He looks like he's in dire straits. Just kind of taking a look at the color of the map right here. But this game is for cash money. Now it's not for all the marbles. This is a best of 7, so you got to win 4 games right now. At this current game, the score is 1-0 in favor of Harald. But currently, nice play by Harry, by Combat Disc to bring himself back in to this series. He has come over. He has taken over this land. He's dropping some LLTs.
Yeah, Combat Disc applying relentless pressure here, now a bombing
Excellent
run.
job. Takes out that Geo.
Yeah. And these relentless raids. Oh, the Gimps do finally make it to the other side, so Harald might be able to get a bit of a counterattack here. So the Gimps certainly nothing to scoff at. They can put out a lot of damage. You might be able to take out this hovercraft platform if he focuses it. But overall, will it be enough? I just don't know if he can bring himself back into the game. He is so far behind.
Frantically putting out wins at this point. 11 metal to 30. This is one of those things where both sides seem like they're kind of crumbling a little bit. You can see they're trying to blast each other back into the Stone Age, but this control of territory right there, if you ran those pyros up, you could get it. But, again, no radar. I don't know if he knows that Harry has stealthily moved on shore.
Yeah, establishing a little beachhead there on the west bank, and very cheeky play there by Combat Disc. We'll have to see if that pays off.
Both of them are lower in resources than they were just a little while ago. So you got to basically add, I think, 7 minutes to this. We're about 34 minutes into this game at this point. Again, taking out the hovers took out the T2 right here, so now he is back to T1. You can see he's actually loading up. You can load up multiple units. And so he's trying to reinforce his pyros, it looks like.
At this point, Harald's best option might be to do a snipe. If he could snipe him with those pyros, he could certainly try to get to his commander and kill him and win the game that way, but he needs a Hail Mary, I think. He is in a very bad spot here. And
yeah, he has 0 factories. He has just a handful of pyros, and it looks like this is probably the intention, is trying to rely entirely on these pyros. He's just lifting them and reinforcing them across the map.
Yeah, I think this is kind of his final hurrah. He needs to get something done with this push because his base is getting crushed.
Not die himself. Down goes Césaire. In come the pyros. There's the commander. He's got the chance for that snipe. There's just got too much stuff around him. Harry cleans him out.
Yeah, I think combat disc.
There he goes. He drops more pyros right on top. And down goes his comm.
Yeah, he calls GG. So very well played that game by combat disc.
Yeah, I actually really like that. That the fast teching by Harald was definitely not a good call. That made his energy super weak. He didn't have air superiority. They were pretty even up to that point, but that was basically the key decision. Harald going T2, and Harry fully committing to that T1 fight with the hovers. Brings him the victory, bringing our series to a 1-1 between Harald and Combat Dick. Crimson Bay goes to Dirty Harry. All right, everybody. Oh yeah, go ahead, Wingflyer, if you got anything.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
it.
great game between those two. Harald certainly being the aggressor. Combat Disc the aggressor in that game, putting on a ton of pressure with a hovercraft, with air, and with some K-bots as well. So very well played there by Combat Disc, and we're excited to see Game 3.
Yeah, Harry just definitely noticing that the straightest point the closest way between 2 points is a straight line, so he just takes that way straight across with the hovers, and cleans up in the meantime. Gags himself that second win, moves him 1 game closer to winning $200. All right, everybody. We'll have more of these games coming up for you. I'll keep bringing Wingflyer on to be our guest commentator on these finals. And a reminder for everybody, his channel is in the description, so you got to make sure you go there, subscribe, and check out all the games that led up to this point. If you want to figure out how on earth Harald and Harry found themselves in the finals together, make sure you swing by his channel. And of course, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the like button, and make it yours. Just tap on it, and you'll feel better about yourself already. All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll catch you around next time. Take care. Bye-bye.